All right, welcome to After Dark, Mr. Gloat, ladies and gentlemen, and I am just out of words because today we are recording After Dark. Today, guys, we are here to review a couple antidotes for the next professional heavyweight boxers and a few other stuff from the world of other sports out there. Of course, I was just this close from pressing the record button. I just want you viewers to know one thing. I was this close, like about probably 5 seconds from getting ready, just trying to relax myself, just to relax and then get to the hype part of it to start my intro, like I try to do all the time, but I'm not good at it. And then the power went out, everything's out, the internet's gone, and my computer screen's the only thing lighting up. I did save some of the articles I'm trying to read here, but there's still some. But now I have to wait for the internet to come back. And even my lamps are off. Everything. It's crazy, crazy. But you know what? That's not going to stop me from recording a Mr. Gloat. I'll tell you that. If something bad happens, we'll be back to update for whatever it is. And of course, we've been having a little bit of a rainstorm going on here, but you know what? Now I have to short this out. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've been having recently for updated information. So, before we get to it, there's actually a piece of footage of a news reported footage that someone actually had a gold coin. Now, this was just a week ago or some days ago, around this week, that someone got reported that someone was just holding on to a chocolate coin. A coin with chocolate inside with the wrap all in gold. Someone got tricked that believing that the coin was like $1 million or $10 million or something and got lied. Now, I forgot the information. I was going to try to repeat the video and what the footage said, but again, the power's out, so I can't get nothing there. But can you imagine that for 5 or so years, or maybe like to say, just imagine that you found a coin just last week ago, and it seems so new, clean, spotless. It's not damaged. It's a clean coin. You take it to a pawn shop, and then they tell you it's chocolate. And you tell them that you were going through someone's space, belongings, this or that. It's like, just imagine how upset it is. It just stinks that there's so much stuff out there that's forged over the years, and then you go back and you look at it today, and then you think to yourself, how stupid could I be? It's almost like how, let's be honest, there's a lot of things that we have to teach people in this world. You have fathers, and you have mothers, and then you have your kids. They're trying to learn the outside world, and you have to teach them stuff about what's forged, what's fake, what stuff people can do behind your back. And then there's stuff out there that you don't expect to be forged. Just like Pawn Stars, when Pawn Stars brought in a Donald Duck bike, a bike, which was Donald Duck. They bought it, they took it to a repair shop, they repaired it, all good, all clean, but the person told them it was somewhat of a forged replica, and the price went down. I think it was like the same price they paid for it, so they bought the same price as a retail, which means they broke even. So I think they still have the bike with them even to this day right now. Who knows? But still. But that's the point. So you have this person that might be like a Hispanic type, Western Asian type person. He's bearded. I haven't seen it. I have seen his face once of a photo on the news, but again, you can almost tell that some people don't know about America and the stuff that could be forged easily. And you think to that. It's like, how can you not be that so sadistic of not knowing it was a chocolate bar? It's just crazy. It's crazy. By the way, there is one other thing I do want to talk about before we get to boxing, but because again, the power is out, so I'm going to have to wait for it later. or do it some other time, because there's another video on YouTube which is so ridiculous. I just gotta show it. It's been spiking up in the internet as a viral, and it's only been almost a week now, so I want to get to that as soon as I can. But unfortunately, we have to wait. But before we wait, I do want to talk about one thing. Now, day after tomorrow, on the 20th, we have the PBA doing the elite brands of tournament. And then the next day later, on the 21st, now they're already doing the qualifications of doing a group of 50 people from Group A, Group B, this or that. Here's the thing. So I said this before, I'll say it again. If EJ Tackett doesn't make it to the Norm Duke Classic, does that mean it's going to damage his reputation for Player of the Year? It might. And he might not do much in the PBA, PWBA mixed doubles, even though he's pretty good at it, but he might not be there, or he might not do good. And the Lucky Larsons, which is on the 31st, which is the end of the season, which we'll have to wait 2 months for that, so there's no point. So it doesn't matter. So at this moment, the season is over at this moment. That's about it. So, but the thing is, Tackett won the world champion. He's in the line for it. The problem is, how many people, I just don't expect 50% of the fans voting for EJ. And there's some imbreediative people out there that are imbreediative that could just not vote for Tackett. And they would vote for other people for Rookie of the Year. They might vote for Zach Wilkins or Zach Wilkins. He might have an opportunity to throw it in. Again, I just can't really point that out into compensation, but of course he could throw that in all he wants to. If Zach Wilkins can come in and maybe find an opportunity, he could actually go forward. He might have something to show for. He might actually do something. If he does something in the Norm Duke and he surprisingly wins his third title, he's in the threat for it. Here's the problem. In 2023, there are only 17 tour titles. Only 17. Well, no, 2022. 2022 PBA season only had 17 tour titles. Anthony Simonson went through all 17 of them and finished every single top 5 finish in all of the tournaments, winning 3. A major and a couple other tournaments. And EJ won 3 on tournaments, that doesn't matter, and 2 majors. And he didn't make it through all TV titles, so you could say to yourself, well, Simonson is the better guy. He didn't make the Player of the Year. So you look at it this way, and you see that EJ is the talk of the town. Like, he's being a top predator for every single season, and we don't know why he's doing so good. And then he messes up for 2026, and we're like, well, that's it. That's going to be it. He's not going to win. He did. And it's like, where are we going to go now? Like, EJ's the winner, so why do we even want to give him a 4th Player of the Year or even a 5th year? Because he's in 2016, he was Player of the Year once. And I'm sure EJ is going to F that up, because by the end of the season, they're going to give him the Player of the Year, and he's saying, wow, I can't believe I've been Player of the Year 4 times. 5 times if you don't count 2016. This is so crazy for people that don't remember. It's not like how Jason Belmonte was interviewed for him making it to the qualification for the Chameleon, and the interviewer tells him, hey, Belmonte, how's it been like to be in the Chameleon on TV for the Chameleon again? Like, you've won it 3 straight times. And Belmonte is like, oh, I don't remember winning it 3 times. Are you serious? No wonder Belmonte is not a good bowler anymore. No wonder Belmonte has not been doing good. He was the Chameleon champion for 2011 and 2012, 2010 and 2011, I assume, and 2020. He's won 3 of those in a row, and you can't remember how you do. If you can't remember what you did 16 years ago or even 6 years ago, How can you not win more PBA titles if you can't remember the pattern, the ball you had, and remember how you were so good all the time? If you can't compete that much, you do not have what it takes to be a bowler next year for your legacy going down the tube. Belmonte has been flopping so much every year. He just can't get nothing done. And Tackett has barely got stuff done this year, and this world champion is back for him to be a player of the year for the 5th time in his career. And for Pete, for just the first time that someone has ever done that. And he's even the first guy to win 4 majors in 4 Petes. Like, that's crazy. You can't go there. I just can't bear to witness EJ Tackett going straight to the mark and just saying, I just can't. It's just, Tackett is the better man. If he doesn't do anything for the Norm Duke Classic, nothing for the mixed doubles or the Lucky Larsons, he's still going to have maybe, I'm just going to say 50%, but he's more of a bowler that all people know who he is. And all these rookies are coming in here, but there's some fans out there, and smart fans like myself are knowing some of these other bowlers that have won titles. So we got to understand that to begin with. We've had a lot of interesting winners. We had some returning winners and some interesting PBA winners and some great field story moments. So there's just nothing terrible about that. There's just not. I can rest my case if I want to, but again, what's the point? What's the point? Anyway. So anyway, back to action here. We are into the boxing world. So the world of professional boxing is this. So Robert Garcia has pointed out the dangers of Alexander Zayas being a really difficult matchup for Jaron Boots, Enos. Which I could say to myself, it's still a fight that I think some fans would like to see. It's a great contender for huge money making here. So I don't know who would even pick up the win here. Like, Boots Ennis has been doing a lot better every single year somehow after he was rated as interim champion in the welterweight by 2023 or 2024 after Terrence Crawford decided to go up a weight class in the super welterweight. And then a year later, up super middleweight. So I really can't say much about that being a tough leisure. Interesting. But again, I can't say much about that. We also have a new contender, as reports are stating that Moses Atama is going to face his undefeated record by taking on Philip Hrgovic, which are reported that they're going to fight in August. All I have to say is it is possible that that fight could happen. It's a good fight on paper. It could give Moses a chance to get a little bit older at time being, and he might have a chance to get better as time goes on. So all in all, he could actually have an opportunity. Who knows? Oh yeah, and by the way, before I continue, you can tell I already have a haircut. I've decided to take a little bit of a crew haircut. I was actually going to keep probably 1 inch of my hair is how much I was going to keep it on my head. But because it was summertime, so I decided, I always like to see my hair stand up sometimes. I am in the crew cut position sometimes. But again, it's just hard for me to understand from having a beard, not having a beard, full not hair. It's hard for me to keep my looks together. It really is. So I decided, because it's summertime, I decided to keep my hair short. Maybe until August and September, I'll keep my hair up to 1 inch and we'll see. But that doesn't matter. Okay. So, Oscar Collazo was originally supposed to Okay, so we've been having out some interesting reports here. So today, as I'm recording this, it's June the 18th, 2026. Oscar Collazo, we have two reports. One, today, Oscar Collazo is now having a new replacement. The new replacement was, sorry for the blackness on my screen there. Joey Canoy from Filipino is actually pulling out of the fight against Collazo because visa issues. Can't get any visa. And that's what you get for not getting a good chance of being a pro boxer to get a world title shot if you don't get your visa. So now he's taken on ranked number 80, who's ranked number 80, that goes by the name of Nieder Valdez. And I'm trying to find out who this guy is. So, again, the internet is not working, so I can't get nothing on that. Oh boy, man. And some of the internet sites are stating connection not working, so that's gonna be great. I can't read up everything here, so this is, oh boy. I can't stop burping. Ah! But you know what? We have some great matches here. We have some very great matches here. Let me see if there's sites here. Oh yeah, and by the way, you know what? I'm gonna talk about that Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora some other time. It's not. Yeah, I'm not. I want to talk about the lower weight class because I know people online don't want to talk about the lower weight class. I do because I want to give these guys recognition. I always want to do that. Oh, and by the way, Marina Loretti is now taking on ranked number 1 pound for pound in the atomweight division. Who I forgot the woman's name. Fighting for the IBO and WIBA title. Will another Japanese woman F it all up by not trying and not winning? Or are they going to get their shot? And the fight is happening in Mexico! Japanese women are never going to be champions. We're never going to have an undisputed champion for a Japanese woman. I just don't think Japanese women have what it takes. Like, it's great that these women are traveling to those other countries, but they don't got that opportunity to get a fair game out there. Even if they're... I just can't. Oh, man. Like, seeing Iri Matsuda losing some months ago was worse, but now, again, it's... I can't. Oh boy, it's gonna be stinking me, man. And don't let me talk about the FIFA World Cup. I'm gonna get to update in the next couple weeks after the three. Like, oh man, I heard that they had like a 32 bracket elimination or something. Like 32 bracket, like that's a lot of players. They reported that they have like 60 countries or something like that, 50 or 60 countries competing in the FIFA World Cup, which I'm like, there's no chance. No chance for Mexico, Canada, or the USA to even make it. Like, good luck for both of them. Like, there's no way the USA will do it. No way Canada or Mexico will. Neither Asia has an opportunity for God almighty. Good luck. Because Europe and South America are the only continents, and they're far away from several continents from where they are. From the south to the mid area of the global map. That's not good. It's not good. So, yeah, what I see here is a huge assortment of problems here. Like, you're seeing a bunch of this stuff happening. And I just forgot what I was about to talk about. The FIFA. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. My brain was going somewhere else right now for some weird reason. But here's the thing. So 1930, the inaugural season, the first ever FIFA World Cup happened in 1930. The USA, they got it. They made it to the semifinals, which back then were only groups of just 4 people, final 4. They lost, but they did win bronze, which is the only time they would ever make it to the Final Four. And then skip to 2002, South Korea became the first ever to make it to the Final Four in Asia. They lost, and they lost the bronze medalist. And then skip 20 years later in 2022, Morocco, the first African continent, well, Africa is a full continent of countries, and Morocco is there. Morocco became the first in Africa to make it to the Final Four. They lost, and they lost, not winning the bronze, like Korea. Those are the only times that those countries that are not South America or Europe have ever made it to the Final Four. Making it to the Final Four in the semifinals is pretty damn hard. So it's really hard for me to see this being legit competition here. It's like, it doesn't make sense. See, this is why I don't like watching soccer. Here's the reason. You have to understand, it makes no sense for men to even compete against these tough competitors. But then you look at women, Asian women and American women are on the cusp of domination. They are winning champions no matter what in the FIFA Women's World Cup. And then you're seeing these videos on YouTube. Oh, Alicia Lehman and her team took on a bunch of 14-year-old boys and they lost 7-1. What is wrong with you? Why do we want to watch competition of grown women taking on some unified junior soccer team, which were boys, and boys defeat the adult women? Who wants to watch that? Who wants to watch American women that are winning FIFA World Cups and the men aren't, and you see them competing against them and the men are doing better? See, this is why I am not following the information of the FIFA World Cup, and I don't like soccer because of this stupidity of incompetence. It's just that upsetting to me to see that. And this is the worst of all worst. The only thing that could not be worse is bowling. But it's worse because females in bowling do not get the recognition. This season, they have 12 tour titles in the PWBA. 9 of them are Bowl TV, and 3 of them are majors, which are on TV, the majors. What's the problem with Bowl TV? Bowl TV is like a rendition of a 2000 or an old quality of a live stream video in the 2000s. Or even right now. It's almost like if you watch a live stream video, like I actually have seen a couple live stream videos of candlepin bowling on YouTube, and the quality is so terrible. It's so terrible. It's like watching a 90s. It's terrible. The quality's not bad. But again, the promoters, the announcers talking, it's like it's like you're watching a mini golf tournament going on or something like that, or even like a Little League baseball match. That's what it's like. There's no camera angles. Like, you don't have one guy filming a camera from next to the gutter areas, which shows the guy's face of his reaction when he's getting ready to bowl on the lanes from this perspective. Oh, and you can't see that. You can't even see the backside. There's no angle. There's no close-up of pin reactions. Like, there's no camera that's actually a foot away from the pin reactions that happen. They only have one camera spot, which shows the camera back to the walls on the other side, and you only get to see the lanes. You only see a lane, like, around here, something like that. Just a straight up of the bowling lanes and the person bowling to your backside. And you can't see pin reaction. You can't see how the pins reacted, this or that. You can't. It's not. There's nothing good about it. It's not. Like, it's killing the sport for women. Like, if you're telling me that 2026, the PWBA is going under and discontinue like they did in 2003, I would be like, yeah, I hear you. I see why. The PWBA have been around for now a decade for their new formation. again, it's hard because you're seeing females that cannot compete year in and year out. You have EJ Tackett competing, winning year in and year out as Player of the Year. Sinwei Jane was a great bowler from Singapore in 2024. She was winning title after title. She failed to win in 2025 and had another bowler that was doing a good job, and she became Player of the Year as well from Asia. And now, I don't know if they're doing good. Well, Lindsey Jane did win her first title this year in the inaugural, and there's other bowlers out there. Where's Daniel McEwen? Again, there's not a lot. Some of these females have barely won some titles, and maybe 4, 5, 6 titles. The most titles that has ever been won by a female were 38, and you can't tell much about that woman from Liz Johnson, 25. No one is even close from winning multitude of 20 tour titles as a PWBA. Like, there's nothing good to it. But the senior tour, the PBA 50 seniors, is even worse. That you don't see their content other than they're on Bowl TV. The majors are all on Bowl TV. Now, luckily, in the World Series of Bowling this year did promote that. They did promote a few tournaments for the oldies and over 50 years old to do some titles in the middle of the shark pattern, the chameleon pattern, everything else after they were done, and then go on for the young bowlers to compete against, which is great. And during the titles and such and this or that. And that was pretty good. I love that. You get to see Tom Hess winning a title on TV for a long time. He hasn't won for over 15 years during his USBC Masters in 2011. That's historic. But again, it's crazy that you can't see that week in and week out as much. So I just don't want to see that. It's I just don't like this as much. I just can't comprehend on it. I really, really can't comprehend on this level of fortitude. It's just, and that's tough. And and that's the reason why I don't watch FIFA World Cup or soccer, is because I don't understand why people are promoting these shows to put women up against men. The men start to dribble out balls so much and the women can't focus on much. They play hard, but they're playing too hard that the men are doing it so easy for them that they get to save their energy for the full 90 minutes. Again, one of these days, you're going to see a woman being in an unappreciated manner, might rip someone's eyes out, and the whole thing is going to go under just like that. And we're going to have someone cancel all these matches of men competing against women in soccer. That could happen. Similar, just like how NCAA college football players used to play against the World Series winners of the World Series champions back in the old days of NFL, when NFL was somewhat new at the time and they only had one division before Super Bowl. Yes, they used to compete as a one-game thing back then. And NCAA used to be good because they had black athletes there, and NFL didn't allow them to compete in their division, but college would, which were good and such. But, of course, that all changed, and NFL players got better. And the last time they ever played as a college team against an NFL team where some horrific storm appeared after the end of the second quarter, the third quarter, and the game was canceled, and they never played again, and there was college players going crazy after that. So it was a horrible environment, so they decided to cancel the whole thing. It wasn't good, and it never happened again. Could that happen just like this? It's possible. And is bowling going to die for the PWBA soon? I have a feeling it will, and that might be a cause for a disaster. And I just really can't throw that in. I just couldn't do it. Like, forgive my impergnosity here, but whatever is happening behind the scenes is got to stop. I just don't want to see it. Now, of course, what about bowling? You think it's not good for women to compete against men? What else could you do after the PWBA died in 2003 and they couldn't come back a decade later? There's a reason why women were competing against the men. They were on the sports. They were on the line, and they were doing good. And Kelly Kuick, Liz Johnson, and even Daniel McEwen won a couple of titles in the PBA at the time from 2010 to 2018. There was some great competition at the time. So women, and the thing about bowling is that it's just all you have to do is just spin a ball, learn the pattern, get better, learn to be under pressure, and that's it. But in soccer, you're competing against 11 guys and 11 girls. And it's like baseball or softball or football. It's like we know the women are going to get trampled. They're not good because men are in the toughness. Us men have been learning sports before the 20th century, while mothers and women were trying to be housewives. So there's nothing you can say. There was even hard for them to say that they couldn't even vote back then. So you can tell that's a problematic there. So there's reasons why I don't watch those type of sports like soccer, because it's just, what's the point of getting upset? It's like, if a guy ever trips a woman up and then you'll have the crowd booing, you're going to have a riot just like that. It's like, and then you'll have people are saying, why am I paying money to watch a game where you have men taking on against women and they're scoring 20 goals in over 90 minutes and the women aren't even trying? There's nothing to it. It's just going to start horrible problems, just like the last time when the NFL competed against an NCAA team. It's not going to end well, and that's my problem. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. And just like FIFA World Cup, it's like Japanese women and American women can do good, but Asian men and American men can't do squat in the FIFA World Cup. It makes no sense to begin with. And yes, even though FIFA women like Germany is the only country that have men and women that won World Cups. I know Germany has won 4 or 5, and 4, I think. And then they have women that won twice in the FIFA Women's World Cup in Germany, which is the only country that has succeeded. And Brazil hasn't done much for women because all women like to do is show up their bubble butts and thongs, which I'm all right with because that's the only thing they're good at. But again, it's just nothing to watch about. I don't want to promote none of it. It's a waste of time, and I hate every bit of it. I just can't. So it just goes to show you, there's a reason why I'm not talking about the FIFA World Cup, but after they're done with the group formation and they put the last 32 teams and countries in the bracket, which will come by, we're about 10 days. I think the last game is going to be on Sunday before they do the tournament, because the tournament starts, the bracket starts on Sunday on the 28th. So we're 10 days away from that. So I'll put out an update for the bracket and say who's in it, and this or that. I'm not going to say who the winner is, but still, if I am going to put up the quarterfinals or semifinals in the next month, we'll see that. But again, just forget about it. Forget about it. Anyway. Time. I'll be here for 10 more minutes. All right, I don't think the power is going to go back up anytime soon now, so I might as well almost end this episode in 10 minutes. I was going to make an hour and a half episode for this, but I'll just cut it away. Anyway, oh my gosh. Anyway. Okay, so by the way, so we have other reports for Oscar Collazo. So the world of professional boxing. So here's the thing. So Collazo, 2 days from now, Collazo is going to fight a guy named Valdez. But then we have other reports here. So on Ring TV, it states, quote, that Oscar Collazo is setting sights on unification bouts with Tadaran, who is Pedro Tadran, IBF champion, who is a friend and a promoter with Manny Pacquiao. He's promoting and supporting Pedro Tadran. And Tadran did had some arguments with him to say he wants to take on the best, which was a couple months ago. So that fight will happen. We also had talks that he might take on Melvin Jerusalem's fighter that Melvin lost not too long ago against the South African boxer Hughes. And I'm not going to pronounce the South African's first name. You pronounce it if you want to, but all we know is he's WBO, Pedro is IBF, Oscar is he? Is he the WBO? I thought WBO. No. Oscar is WBO and WBA. IBF champion Pedro, and so the South African's last name is Quse, Kuse. Crazy. But his first name is spelled Siyak Hoa, spelled Syakholwa. I'll just say his name Quse. So here's the thing. Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay, so here's the thing. So Oscar is going to cherry pick a fighter that's going to be a replacement, which I'm expecting this fight to go a couple rounds or 3 rounds, but Collazo might want to build up his rounds before the biggest. Pedro is ranked number 2 in the minimum weight as BoxRec. Quse, 5. I don't know. Can I expect Ryusei Matsumoto, who is an 8-0 Japanese fighter, ranked number 4? Where's he ranked at? I know he's the WBA regular championship or interim champion. Ryusei is the mandatory ranked minimum weight champion, or so he was, because someone said that he just vacated the title because now, as of this month, he is now ranked number 1 in the WBA, 2 in WBC, IBF 3, and, well, no WBO for him, but again, he could be a good pick, he could be, he could not be, he might not. I don't know. He might be. He could. I don't know. In my heart of heart, if Ryusei actually fights against, let's just say he takes on the South African boxer and wins, I could say he could. It could be something. Again, Pedro did. We got power. We got power, baby. And I just lost my remote. Where's my remote? Oh, it's in the kitchen. Okay. Woo! Okay, man. After 38 minutes of darkness, man, we're back in action. Okay. The internet is still out. We have to check that up. I might as well end this episode so we can get the internet back. So, you know what? I'm going to save that other moment I talked about in the beginning part some other time. But you know what? Oh, boy. What a time to be alive. Anyway, back in action. So, I'll be waiting to get the power of the internet back on as best we could. Okay, so here's the report. Oscar Collazo. So Oscar Collazo might want to say that he wants to take on Pedro Tadran, which is a good fight because he's number 1 and Pedro's number 2. He could take on anyone if he wants to. And because I'm going to stop at the 45-minute mark of this video, so give me 5 more minutes to talk about this. Well, I do have one other thing I was going to talk about, but I'll talk about it now. But here's the thing. If Ryusei takes on Q's, wins the WBC belt, that could be a good fight on paper for an undisputed championship. Like Oscar Collazo versus this next Japanese fighter. That could be a good fight on paper to fight against. I could almost say for certain it could be a fight against with the Puerto Rican born USA taking on a Japanese fighter. That could be a fight on paper for money. I could see that, and I could almost see this Japanese fighter because I'm almost a little bit interested in Matsumoto as he is. So if I could say for certain that he could be another fighter in the makings of a world champion, I could say for certain he has what it takes. He could actually have an opportunity to throw in the dice and start shaking them up and just put them down, and we might get a 7. Or if you get 2 or 2 6s or 2 1s, it's craps you lose. That could be a good fight on paper. So I could be okay about that. But again, I might be just gibbering because this might not happen. But who knows? Like, how are we not going to know that Jermell Charlo, the Hitman, is not going to fight in July on the undercard of Errol Spence and Tim Tsuzu? How do we not know that fight's not going to happen? It's better to wait for a month as long as Jermell Charlo's team is going to keep him together. So maybe we have Oscar Collazo defeats Pedro. Maybe we have an undisputed championship from there. And like, I could see Oscar waiting a couple years. Like, if Oscar Collazo does wait I could see Oscar being undisputed in 2027. And I could see him doing that. I think Oscar should wait because this might give him more opportunities. Because Rene Santiago, WBO and WBA light flyweight champion, the second lowest weight class, one up higher than the minimum weight where Oscar is right now, he is in the parking space of champions. Like Shokichi Iwakawa is WBC champion. Simsri from Thailand is the IBF champion. We have some interesting boxers here that can throw in their dice. They can throw in everything from their poker chips to gamble all of this up. If Rene Santiago can hold on to those titles, he can hold them on as best he could. Let's just say that they might even have a unification fight in the light flyweight. Go for it. What happens then? If someone is winning 3 titles, you are seeing legendary champions there, as long as there's no vacancies as we speak. The thing is, Oscar Collazo, he can get an undisputed championship for 2027. He wins. What is he going to do? He might go up to weight class in 2028. If Rene can keep those belts together, we might have, or maybe Shokichi Iwakawa, which would be a good fight on paper instead, but Rene Santiago, because he's Puerto Rican, just like Oscar. So if we get that together, we can see the Puerto Rican minimum weight champion taken on against this Puerto Rican light flyweight champion. We can see big money there. That right there could be a match on paper for the Puerto Ricans for all decades to come. That could be something on paper I would like to see. And I think we should actually try to promote that as best we could. So maybe Oscar can handle himself together for as long as he could to get this undisputed championship going if he could just take on one of these 2 fighters. And that's what we see here. I would say that, but who knows? By the way, the last updated information, speak about Robert Garcia and such, more talks about him taking on Bam Rodriguez, states that he's going to take on Kristen Medina, who is the WBO bantamweight champion. My final thought about that is this. If Bam Rodriguez does defeat Christina Medina, wins the belt, goes unification, if he does actually pull out a more better win than he did last week ago, then I might say for 2027, he might take on Naoya Inoue. So what's Inoue going to do? Maybe he might fight against Sam Goodman, or maybe take on Sebastian Hernandez, who was Nakatani's other last opponent. So give him his 9th title defense for his undisputed belt, and then next year take on Bam Rodriguez. And if Inoue decides to quit boxing after that, what a legacy. So that's all I have to say about this episode. We're at the 45-minute mark. All I can say is thank you for watching this. We'll see what happens if we get the internet back up, going and running perfectly. Thank you for watching this. Sorry for being in the nightlight for a long time, but you know what? It was fun while it lasted. And with that being said, we'll see you next time for June the 20th, where we have all of the world title fights going on, and we're going to see who the world champion is. For Oscar Collazo, straight down from the world champions of Atomweight Boxing, we'll see you there.